Hello, my name is Melanie Velez, and this is my TAB podcast response video. I will be reviewing Lisa Benjamin's podcast on electronic medical records. First off, I want to say that the video was very informative, and I think the topic chosen was very interesting. Some of the suggestions that I have gathered, you discussed a lot about the EMR systems and mentioned that healthcare facilities were now beginning to utilize them more often. Maybe you can add the statistics on how many facilities have now began using them, such as the percentage of facilities using them versus those who have not used them, and maybe include why those facilities are choosing not to enforce this EMR system at the time. Also, maybe you can add the statistics on how much time these systems have saved physicians as opposed to the time that the physicians were spending with patients before they were installed. Also, you mentioned the grants that physicians may qualify for by just implementing the EMR system. Do these grants pay for the system entirely, partially, or do they not pay for the system at all? Are the grants more like block grants, or are they strict grants where the physician must use them as the government states it must be used pertaining to the EMR system? You also had briefly mentioned an internet gateway protocol where patients can discuss their cases with physicians over the internet. Is this protocol a form of cybersecurity measure against hackers meaning to get patient information for illegal use? Are there any other security technologies being utilized to make sure that these EMR systems are being fully protected against computer hackers? Are there any other laws governing these systems, such as HIPAA or other patients' rights laws that may be either for the system or against the system because of privacy issues? The use of EMR in other countries could also maybe be discussed, such as I read online how Australia was now implementing EMR systems in their ambulances. Is this also being done in the US? And is other systems in other countries utilizing the same softwares that US is utilizing in these EMR systems? And finally, maybe you can touch upon the EMR system software by itself, like what softwares and protocols in general are used within these systems. These are all the suggestions that I have pertaining to this podcast, and it does seem that you will not encounter any issues because you have given a lot of information regarding the EMR. And that concludes my podcast.